Okay, you got to protect the ball. Aaron Donald right now, as great as Khalil Mack has been, and he's been phenomenal. Aaron Donald is the best defender in football right now. He's the most disruptive guy in football right now. And I was wondering, Andy, at what point in time do you help Irving or you put someone else in the ball game? Because this guy, there are a few guys, Skip, in the NFL on the defensive side of the football that if you do not account for them on every single play, they'll wreck your offense. Donald, Von Miller, and Khalil Mack. You must account for them. And I'm like, you're going to leave Cam Irving one-on-one with Aaron Donald? Why? On the first, I get it. The first one, Skip, great play. But why would the offensive lineman try to pick the ball up, Skip? Do you know how much tape and those big gloves that they have on? You're not picking the ball up. Just fall on it. Second, at some point in time, Skip, Aaron Donald, these guys get paid. You say you can't play defense because everything is catered to the offense. You got to make your plays. And Aaron Donald made his plays. Justin Houston made those plays. You have to give those guys credit. At some point in time, they want to be heard from.
By the way, quick point of order. Do you realize Ndamukong Suh played 90% of the snaps last night and registered one unassisted tackle, not a solo tackle, one unassisted? He was out there all night, and I didn't notice him one time. I didn't even know he played.
Yeah. I told you. I mean, he's
still making $14 million.
Yeah. He's making that money, but I mean, look, you saw the two best defensive tackles in football last night. One plays for the Chiefs and Chris Jones, and the other is Aaron Donald. Those are the two best DTs in football. And Skip, and look, I get it. There was the game. Jerry Goff was not without liability. Also, he turned the ball over. Had two horrendous turnovers. Also,
he did,
and you can't turn the ball over. But I want to give the defense credit because there was some hitting going on out there. But the problem I had at the end, Skip. Why would Tyreek Hill play hero ball in that situation? Skip, the ball 2 yards deep in the end zone on a punt. Johnny Hecker punted it 68 yards. If Tyreek Hill lets the ball hit the ground in the end zone, there's 57 seconds. So imagine getting the ball at the 25-yard line. They picked up 14 yards. So imagine getting the ball at the 25, getting 14 yards. You're at your own 39 with one timeout and 30 seconds left, as opposed to starting at the 12-yard line.
I hate to say this, but once upon a time when Oklahoma was playing Oklahoma State featuring Tyreek Hill, Bob Stoops made the mistake of punting late in the game to Tyreek Hill, and you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So he thought he was going to do an Oklahoma on the Rams.
And that situation right there, the way my offense is playing, I'm going to put the ball in Mahomes' hand. Now, it turned out to be he ended up throwing a pick. But I just believe that if you get that ball on the 39-yard line with one timeout in 30 seconds, now you don't have to be as aggressive because now everything is still in play. The middle of the field is in play, and you don't have to worry about it because once they burn the timeout, Skip, now all of a sudden, basically it's sideline throws, and Pat Mahomes got a little anxious. He needs to do a better job of protecting the football because if you look on every strip sack, how did he have the ball? One hand. You know when you're in the pocket, Skip, you got to secure that. The most important thing in the pocket is ball security. And, you know, he got a little careless with the ball.
He's a young gunslinger, and he gets reinforced by the world because the world wants to see him gunsling, and he does not protect the football.
Skip, let's put this in context. Your boy Tom Brady has 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Pat Mahomes has 17 and 4 in November. Let that sink in.
My boy Tom Brady is throwing to the piano man.
Now,
the piano man. That's it. That's all he's got. He doesn't have Gronk anymore. Do you realize? Have you seen a better array of receivers than this?
We make excuses, Tom, when it's not going well.
No, we're making excuses for Patrick Mahomes.
No, we're not making no excuses. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, did Alex Smith have those last year? Was anybody that's playing for Patrick Mahomes not playing for Alex Smith when he threw for 26 touchdowns? So now my homeboy is living clear of what Alex did in 15 games. So who's there that wasn't there? Was Tyreek Hill? Did he just get there? What about Travis Kelce? Conley?
Conley was there.
They
were good. They're a playoff team.
Right? But were they like this? No, don't do that.
Well, they started off hot last year.
Hot, Skip.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has a higher upside than Alex Smith, but Alex Smith's won a lot of football games.
He won a lot of football games, but after watching him in practice and watching this offense, Andy Reid realizes in order for us to get to the sky, this guy needs to be flying the plane that's going to take us to the stratosphere. Skip, I got no problem with Alex Smith. I think he's a I still look at him as a game manager. I do not look at him as a guy that can take me to the promised land. This kid right here, Skip, he's special. Think about this. In the 2 games they lost, they scored 91 points. How many teams you know in NFL history can turn the ball over 5 times and get to 51?
By the way, he got outgunned by Tom Brady, who threw for 182 in the 4th quarter.
Well, he did not.
Interesting. And Tom Brady he's showing signs of age. That's according to you.
17 touchdowns.
Interesting.
Touchdowns.
Love it.
And 7 picks in a year. My homeboy got 17 and 4 in November.
Don't look now, but Tom Brady and company are still alive, and don't rule them out for being the number 1 seed in the AFC.
You want to put some dew on it?
Well, we're going to talk about it later in the show, and I just might.
You ain't going to put no dew on it.
I just might.
Okay. I want to give the and yet look. Patrick Mahomes needed to take care of the ball because in those 2 losses, he had 8 turnovers.
That was horrendous.
Skip.
You thought it was horrendous what he did in the first half at New England.
Yeah. When you have 8, think about it. The dude has 8 turnovers, and they got 91 points. Skip, I can teach him ball security. I can teach him, look, we need to take better care of the football. So we cut that in half. If you cut that in half, how many points? How many teams?
Were they ever able to teach Brett Favre ball security? Just a question. I don't know. I'm not sure they ever were.
I believe Andy Reid. Well, and Andy only had Brett for like a year or 2 years, a couple of years. Here's the thing, Skip, is that how many teams can get to 50? How many teams in the AFC can get to 50? Well, because that's what you get. Because you look. With Tyreek Hill, you got no answer for him. You got no answer for Kelsey. And what they were able to do because they got spotted 13 points, they really took Kareem Hunt out of the ball game. They were averaging what? Almost 5 yards a clip. Kareem Hunt had 14 rushes, 70 yards. That's 5 yards a clip. But they were able to neutralize him because basically it was a back and forth game. And Andy realized running the football wasn't going to get me closer or keep me in the lead, so they had to throw it. But how of the team that's in the AFC, I believe they'll face, Pittsburgh, the Chargers, or the Patriots. Which one of those teams that you say, you know what, today they're going to get to 50? Because I know that team right there can get to 50 at the blink.
Well, all I know is it better keep getting to 50 because with that secondary, that back 7 they have, they're going to get torched.
They tore them.
Yeah,
They're terrible.
Okay.
They're terrible.
I'm just saying.
But but hold on. But look at Kansas. Oh, you like the Patriots secondary?
No, I don't like Belichick. Belichick's lost his fastball. I can't help it.
So what's Kansas City's fault? Bob Sutton lost his fastball, huh?
He's been around a while.
Okay, what about Pittsburgh? You like their secondary? Because you know what my homeboys did to them in Heinz Field. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Best quarterback in the AFC still resides in Foxborough.
With 17 touchdowns?
Yeah.
With 17 touchdowns.
Well, this guy's got 10 interceptions now.
37 tubs.
Okay. So let's get to the other half of the story in this quote-unquote instant classic, which was the coach of the winning team who almost gave the game back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
He's ultra-aggressive.
Sean McVay was on the Monday night stage trying to match offensive genius with Andy Reid so that the world could say, look, he's the young genius. He might out-genius the old genius, Andy Reid. And what happened late in the 3rd quarter when they took a 40-30 lead, made Kansas City punt, got the ball back with 58 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. They got the football, and they got this guy named Todd Gurley. Do you remember him? And they fire the gun one time. And Todd Gurley goes up the middle for 24 yards. Remember that play?
Yep,
and that was the last we saw of Todd Gurley because that was too easy, and that kind of takes the genius label off Sean McVay. So after that, it's just play action, play action. They must have play action to Todd Gurley 30 times last night.
That's their
Seriously.
offense, yep.
Okay, but again, if you give me a 40-30 lead with that running back, I can salt that away. I can kill that clock. And he just refused to do it.
But I think you have to find a balance, Skip, because if you get a 40-30 lead and then all of a sudden you allow them to come back by running the ball, everybody's going to say, well, you got the lead by throwing it. Why all of a sudden did you become ultra-conservative? And I told you, I believe it's a lot easier to come from behind down by 10 than play with the lead because for that very reason, you don't want to get reckless with the football. But I thought they almost gave it away when they got the interception. And then it went pass, they got a completion, then pass.
So that's 1:18 left in the football game. And they managed to run off 14 whole seconds on the clock and go 3 and out and punt.
Right.
So in the 4 downs, the clock moved 14 total seconds because they went pass. They threw it each time. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing?
Skip, if you look at the Rams offense, is the reason why they get such big plays because everything is 5 and 7 step drops and it's off play action. They're trying to get the ball. See, they're not trying to check it down.
Yep.
Jared Goff ain't checking anything down. It's Brandon Cooks, deep. It's Robert Woods, deep. It's Everett, the tight end, deep. Everything is deep. And the only way you can get deep, Skip, you got to set the quarterback up. So everything is play action, 5 steps, 7 step drops because they're going home run. And so you subject yourself, and that's what happened. The ball come out. But I agree. I mean, I think Todd Gurley should have had more than 12 rushes.
And
He should have had more than 12.
especially when you got a 40-30 lead and you have a 3-point lead late.
Yeah.
You just have to just use what you got. You were making a case early this year. He was the MVP.
Yeah. I think the thing for me, Skip, is that a classic, and the turnovers kind of sullied it up a little bit at the end. But you get the back and forth. I mean, Kansas City, again, remember Kansas City spotted New England 24-9. So they spotted them points and somehow come back to take the lead. They spotted this team 13 points. You can't keep spotting good teams. But I tell you what, even if you do spot them, the one thing you can't do is turn the ball over. They punish you for them.
So I do need to credit Jared Goff because I thought he slightly outplayed Patrick Mahomes, even though he had his 2 tumultuous turnovers. But in this case, he made 2 clutch throws down the stretch at the end of this game that were the kind of throws that Patrick Mahomes wasn't able to make late in the game. So
I'll give you that.
Remember, 2:13 left. It gets to 3rd and 9 at his 26, and he hits Brandon Cooks for 22 yards. That's the play of the game because that's a game saver right there. Because if you miss that throw, I don't know if you go for it.
What are they going for?
I don't know. Or they punt. That's your own 26-yard line.
But if you think about it, that's the exact same play that Skandrick almost picked.
He almost
the
picked
play
it.
before.
I do give you that. And then the 40-yard throw to Gerald Everett, that was a thing of beauty.
Skip, that was the worst disguise ever.
There was no disguise.
Because here's the first.
He knew before the snap he had single coverage with that safety Sorensen on.
Yeah, but they tried to disguise it like it was going to be cover 2.
No.
Skip, in my 14 years, one time I got fooled. And it fooled John also. They walked the linebacker. So we thinking like, okay, that's man coverage. They walked the linebacker and they play cover 2.
Yep.
And I ran the flat route in what I thought was going to be a vacated because they put House outside. They walked the linebacker. So we thinking that's man coverage. Skip, they play cover 2. I run the drag flat in the cover 2. And guess what happened? My helmet went that way. My feet went up in the air. And the first thing to hit was the back of my head with no helmet.
Okay.
They fooled him. Skip, on that situation right there, you looking like, okay, that's the safety. Oh, they going to play cover 2. Who going to play cover 2 at that juncture of the game when the safety walked over a tight end?
All the way split out.
Yes.
Yep.
And then Skip, he's like, my grandma used to say, boy, if you open the door, flies will come in your house. This is what Sorensen did. He's up there in a press position. Open the door. Everett gets a free release. And
It was over. It was over. And Goff saw it before the snap.
Yes.
And he read it and he threw it. And he threw it right on time and right on the money.
But my homeboy ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
My homeboy ain't going nowhere.
You're going back.
Not with them 37 tubs.
He went backwards.
12 clear Drew Brees. He's 8 clear of everybody else.
Well, let's talk about that.